Springs, and we also have Rachel Siegler. If you want to introduce yourself really quickly.
Hi there, my name is Rachel Siegler, and I am also an assistant principal of instruction with Bluff Springs College Prep. Thank you for coming tonight.
Yes, please go ahead and mute your mic if you haven't already done so. I will also be, voy a leer una traducción en español. We will have questions at the end of the presentation, so if you want to just put them in the chat, we'll get to them as soon as we can. Si tienes preguntas, por favor, déjame un mensaje en el chat box y podemos ayudar. Y por favor, silencia tu micrófono. Okay. So the agenda for this meeting, we're going to talk about the purpose of STAAR exams. We're also going to be talking about how important it is to follow your students' grades, the kind of support that we're providing at Bluff Springs for grades, and then general in-person guidelines. So if your student attends in person, these are the guidelines that we want everyone to follow. Para esta junta vamos a mirar el propósito de los exámenes de STAAR, la importancia de las calificaciones, el apoyo que vamos a dar en Bluff Springs de calificación y las reglas generales en persona. And before we get started, this COVID definitely has, changed the way we do things on campus. So we're acting as if STAAR is going to happen. We don't know what the end of the year is going to look like, but at this point, we are preparing our students for STAAR. Hasta resulta de COVID, estamos preparando todos los niños para a STAAR exam. Okay, so in 6th grade, the only 2 STAAR exams that we give are in reading and mathematics. En 6º grado, sus niños van a tomar exámenes de lectura y matemáticas. And the purpose of the STAAR exam, the Texas Education Agency, TEA, these are mandatory state exams that are required for every student. The exams are designed to assess a student's achievement and knowledge that they're learning in that grade level. And so school districts design specific curriculums that will, spiral in the material that they need to pass those exams. As an organization, we also design mid-unit and unit exams each quarter to assess student knowledge based off STAAR key points.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
We have a guest, Adriana Gloria, who says that the volume is very low.
Okay.
Adriana, please make sure that your volume is all the way up, and then we will also try to troubleshoot on our end as well.
Yes, I use the same app that you all use at work, and that's why I'm like, okay, this is extremely low.
Interesting.
So I'm going to go ahead and log into my actual desktop. Maybe I can open it through there.
Okay.
But because it is so low, and that's why I was like, wait a minute. I didn't hear half of what you just spoke.
I can hear just fine on mine, though.
Okay.
Let me figure out what's going on. Well, not so much figure out, but I was like, wait, because we're both trying to listen, me and my partner, for Britlin Nevaeh Hensley, and that's why I'm like, I can't even put you on speaker, so that's why.
Oh no.
Okay.
Miss Gloria, I believe my name is Coach Walter. I am a teacher at Idea Bluff Springs. I believe if you're using a cell phone.
Hold on 1 second. I'm sorry, I can barely hear you. I'm gonna log out and then log back in.
Okay.
I just can't hear.
Hopefully we can troubleshoot that. Is that one of our 2?
Fault. It's just very low.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and continue. We are recording this so we can give her a copy, and hopefully the audio will come out a little bit better. So really quickly, los exámenes de STAAR, TEA, son exámenes estatales obligatorios que debe realizar cada estudiante. Los exámenes STAAR fueron diseñados para evaluar los logros y el conocimiento aprendido de todos los estudiantes. Los distritos escolares diseñan currículos específicos que se muevan en espiral en el material necesario para aprobar los exámenes STAAR. Las escuelas públicas de IDEA también diseñan exámenes de unidad y mitad de unidad cada trimestre para evaluar el conocimiento de los estudiantes en función de los puntos clave de STAAR. So, In terms of grading, considering how districts create specific curriculum and exams, student knowledge before they take their STAAR exams, it's really important that kids are attending class. If they're not in class and if they're not engaged in class while they're logged on, they're not going to learn the material that they need to pass their state exams or their classes. By law, students need to have a 70 or higher in their classes to be considered passing. Now, this doesn't apply to 6th grade, but it's really important in high school that students get a 70 or higher to receive credits for their course, or they will have to repeat any failed course until the credit is gained by passing. So this will apply to your kids, in a few years. By law, high school students also need a certain amount of credits in order to graduate from high school. So, para preparar los niños para STAAR, es muy importante que los estudiantes asistan a todas las clases. La baja asistencia y participación da como resultado que los estudiantes no aprendan el material necesario para aprobar sus exámenes. Por ley, los estudiantes necesitan un 70% o más en sus clases para ser considerados aprobados. Esto es especialmente crucial para los estudiantes de secundaria, ya que necesitan un 70% o más para recibir sus créditos por curso o deben repetir cualquier curso reprobado hasta que obtengan el crédito al aprobar. Sus niños en el año que va a pasar es muy importante cuando ellos entran a secundaria. So because grades are so important, we really need your support. Why? On average, Bluff Springs students are logged on for about 40 minutes a day. So that means engagement is low. I mean, we start school, from 8:30 till 3:30. So 40 minutes on average is pretty low. And we're seeing that in some of our academic averages. So it tells us that students are really not taking advantage of the live classes that we are offering. And Bluff Springs is one of the few schools in Austin that is offering live classes. Other campuses are only offering asynchronous classes. That means there's not a live teacher teaching to students in the moment. Students are either viewing a recording or they're following a post with directions, but they actually don't have a teacher teaching live. And at Bluff Springs, we do offer that. So, las calificaciones son muy importantes. Necesitamos el apoyo de los padres. Porque en promedio los estudiantes de Bluff Springs están conectados y participan en sus clases durante un total de 40 minutos al día. Esto significa que el compromiso es muy bajo, los promedios académicos son muy bajos y los estudiantes no se aprovechan de las clases en vivo. IDEA Bluff Springs es una de las pocas escuelas en Austin que ofrece clases en vivo. Tenemos maestros enseñando a sus hijos en vivo y otras escuelas no, solo ofrecen lecciones asincrónicas, entonces no tiene maestro enseñando a sus hijos. Okay. So to help ensure that all students are successful, considering the fact that we do have some low engagement data, we really need parent support to ensure that students are doing the following: attending live classes daily, that they are focused as much as possible during their lectures, that they're asking for help and actively, asking teachers when they need assistance, and that they're completing all of their assignments to passing standards. So when you take a look at all the quarters, all 4 quarters, it needs to add up to 280 points for them to pass for the year. So para ayudar a garantizar que todos los estudiantes tengan éxito, es muy importante que los estudiantes completan lo siguiente: asistir a las clases en vivo cada día, concentrado tanto como sea posible durante las clases, pedir ayuda cuando sea necesario y completar todo el trabajo para aprobar estándares. El 70% o más está pasando. Los promedios trimestrales debían sumarse hasta 280 mínimo para pasar. Okay. Y otra vez, si tienes preguntas, por favor, dejen mensaje en el chat box. If you have questions, please put it in the chat so that we can address those. Okay. All right, so for our campus, our OTG means on track to graduate. So in order to get kids to graduate, our promise as an organization is, to get your kids to and through college. We are willing to change Q1 grades to passing if students follow a very specific plan of action. So first of all, this plan is optional for students who receive a 69 or below. So you don't have to do this, but we are highly encouraging it. This is the only opportunity for students to be able to fix their Q1 grades. We are now in Q2. And our hope is that this plan will help increase productivity, engagement, accountability, and ensure students are on track to pass the STAAR. So we're really trying to build momentum and build good habits. So para ayudar a los estudiantes a aprobar su semestre y año, estamos dispuestos a cambiar las calificaciones del primer trimestre si los estudiantes siguen un plan de acción específico. El plan es opcional para los estudiantes que recibieron un 69 o menos para un curso o cursos. Esta es la única oportunidad para que los estudiantes puedan corregir sus calificaciones de trimestre 1. Estamos en trimestre 2 ahorita. Y el plan ayudará a aumentar la productividad, el compromiso, la responsabilidad y garantizará que los estudiantes estén bien encaminados para aprobar y para colegio.
Mr. Gonzalez, we do have one just comment in the chat asking about, the piece of for the kids who have worked really, really hard to make sure they did pass Q1. Just the question of how is that fair for those students who did work really hard to pass Q1?
I do completely understand that. One thing I want to mention is that every circumstance is different during quarantine. Some families are dealing with different struggles. And so we wanted to give students a bridge to get back. And again, this is a one-time only plan to get kids passing. And the hope is that we will build momentum so that those kids will continue to log on each day. So I do hear the issue of equity, but they're still only going to get a 70, and the goal is to keep our kids engaged throughout the year. I also think when you have kids that are doing work and we get them participating, it helps everybody. The interaction that they have with their peers and the ability to help others and grow. We are a community, so we do want to get kids back, and this is a very unique year. And if you have any additional questions, you can always reach out to me, Ms. Siegler, Ms. Bruce, or our academic counselor, Ms. Medina. We would love to, engage in a discussion with you about it. Okay, so again, the plan of action. Students must complete comprehensive assessments for each course they failed in Q1. Assessments are due either in person or by mail on November 13th. All the work must be shown upon submission. So they can't just answer the questions. They actually have to demonstrate that they understand the skill, that they have the skills and the mastery of the concepts in their submission. We will make these available on November 2nd in person or via Teams to print. So it will be in your class Teams for whatever class you need them for. You also have to sign an OTG signature page. Those are due in person or via email on November 2nd. OTG pages were mailed out, but if you need one, we're going to go ahead and put it in the chat. And then you could also email Stephanie Covarrubias. Her email is up there at ideapublicschools.org. Rachel, do you have those documents available to you by chance?
Yes, I do.
Then you put those in the chat. Those are I think it's the middle school plan that has a signature page on it. Another condition of the plan is students must join all their core class lectures daily. So attendance is being tracked. We have good data in terms of when kids are logging on. They have to be present the entire class period and participate. And they also must currently be passing their courses for Q2 with a 70 or above. So all of those things must be true in order to get the 70 for Q1. Los estudiantes deben completar evaluaciones integrales para cada curso que reprobaron el primer trimestre. Las evaluaciones deben entregarse en persona o por correo electrónico antes del 30 de noviembre. Todo el trabajo debe mostrarse al momento de la presentación. Entonces necesitan ir al trabajo para cada pregunta. Disponible en el 2 de noviembre en persona o por medio de Teams para imprimir. Las páginas de la firma OTG deben entregarse en persona o por correo electrónico el 2 de noviembre. Las páginas de OTG se enviaron por correo. Si necesita una, está en el chat. Señora Ziegler va a dar en el chat. Puedes dar mensaje a señora Covarrubias con este email, el correo electrónico. Y los estudiantes deben unirse a todas las clases principales cada día. Si no están asistiendo a las clases, no van a ganar el crédito. Se hará un seguimiento de la asistencia. Los estudiantes deben estar presentes durante todo el periodo de clases y participar. Los estudiantes deben aprobar sus cursos para el segundo trimestre con un 70 o más. Todo necesitan para agarrar el 70 para los grados del trimestre 1. Like I said, students who follow all 3 steps will be granted the passing score of a 70 for each class they failed in quarter 1. And we're not going to change the grade until the end of quarter 2. So the expectation is that the students follow that plan with fidelity for the entire quarter. Tutorials may be hosted by teachers to help with content on the assessments. If not, students can look at old lecture notes or other, their lectures, the video recordings that teachers produce to prepare for that assessment. A los estudiantes que sigan estas 3 pasos van a recibir calificaciones aprobatorios de 70 máximo por cada clase que reprobaron en el primer trimestre. Las calificaciones cambiarán al final del segundo trimestre. Entonces, la expectativa es que los estudiantes sigan el plan con fidelidad durante todo el trimestre 2. Los profesores pueden ofrecer tutorías para ayudar con el contenido de las evaluaciones. Si no, los estudiantes pueden revisar lecciones o notas para completar su evaluación. Okay. So, can your scholar attend in person if you want to increase the accountability? The answer is yes. Please put your name in the chat if you are interested in having your child attend in person. We have plenty of space. We would love to have, kids that need that support in the building so that we can help them. Si quieres que su hijo o hija asistir en persona, por favor, ingrese su nombre en el chat box si está interesado para que alguien pueda hacer un seguimiento con usted. If you really want your child to attend, we have the room and we'd love to have them. Now, if they do attend in person, there are some guidelines, safety guidelines that we do need to follow. We are following all CDC safety guidelines and recommendations. Masks are to be worn at all times by students and staff. Students will be assigned to specific rooms, several feet away from each other and from each desk. We have plastic sneeze guards that are already installed in every desk. Tables are sanitized upon entry to campus throughout the day and after school. We have hand sanitizer and hand washing stations, and that's available as needed throughout the day. Students also have a teacher in the room that is monitoring at a safe distance to help support and troubleshoot teams or issues with their computers. And the result of that is that we believe that students' grades and productivity will improve. So todas las recomendaciones de seguridad de los CDC ser seguido. Se requiere que los estudiantes usen máscaras en todo momento. Los estudiantes serán asignados a salones específicos Say again? Are we good? Okay.
There we go.
Ok, los estudiantes serán asignados a salones específicos a varios pies de otro escritorio. Protectores de estornudos de plástico en cada escritorio. Las mesas se desinfectarán al entrar a la escuela y después de la escuela y durante el día. Hay desinfectante de manos y lavado de manos disponibles según sea necesario. Los estudiantes tendrán un maestro en la sala de monitoreo a una distancia segura para ayudar a apoyar y solucionar problemas de los equipos, computadora, todo que necesitan los estudiantes. Y los resultados se incrementa la productividad de las calificaciones de los estudiantes. Okay. So if you want your scholar to attend in person, please complete the survey in the chat. Rachel, if you could please put the safety survey in the chat. I think Steph had sent it in a message. You can bring your scholar to campus. Please make sure that they have their laptop, headphones, and a mask upon entering. We do have masks, but if you could provide one, that would be helpful. We do have masks though if they need it. And the student will be assigned a room as a car rider or a walker badge for dismissal. So if they're a car rider, that means you're going to pick them up in their car. They will get a red badge. And if they are walking home, they will get a yellow badge. So si quiere que su estudiante asista en persona, por favor, completa la encuesta en el chat. Señora Ziegler va a dar en el chat. Traiga a su estudiante a la escuela. Asegúrese que su hijo o hija tenga su computadora, máscara y por favor al estudiante se le asignará un salón y una placa de pasajero caminante para la salida. Si su estudiante es un pasajero, va a dar una placa que es rojo y si ellos van a caminar a su casa, va a dar una placa amarillo. Okay. That's it for the presentation. We will hang around if you have any questions. Thank you so much for spending some time with us. We're here to help. We would love to, answer any questions that you may have.
Mr. Gonzalez, I think there was one earlier that I'm not exactly sure. Adriana, would you mind coming off of mute and clarifying about your question about 2018-2019?
So the latter part of this last school year before COVID hit, March, right after spring break, correct? Isn't that the same thing that we as IDEA, because my daughter goes there, did the same thing that you're doing now for this first quarter?
In terms of like making up grades?
Not making up, kind of curving, or you use the first quarter's grades to go ahead and do the same, to go ahead and be placed on the next grade? Isn't that basically the same thing?
No, I actually want to say that the standards that we had at the end of last year were a lot lower than actually what we're doing now. It had first hit the nation. We didn't know, what the outcome was going to be, and so we definitely gave families a lot of grace in terms of the grades. We're working to hold families a lot more accountable right now because, STAAR was canceled at the end of last year. This year, we are fully on track to take STAAR. So the stakes are a lot higher, and we definitely want to make sure that kids are, now that we know what it looks like, we know what the game is. I think we're a lot more prepared to push our standards. And so I don't think it's the same. I think we were a little more lenient last semester than what we're doing this year.
Which is again because nobody knew what this pandemic has, how it impacted everybody, in all forms and emotional and et cetera, et cetera. This is why I completely understand. The thing is, one of the things I wanted to know as far as the STAAR is how I missed that whole thing. That's when I couldn't hear you all. That's why if you can reintroduce or talk about the whole STAAR, how we're going to do it.
I'm going to go ahead and come off. So in terms of what testing is actually going to look like, we still don't know exactly what the actual testing process is going to be. We are, under the assumption that STAAR is going to happen. We are following the standards that, have been set for our kids, and we're preparing them for STAAR. But I mean, we don't know what's around that corner. We're doing our best to make sure kids are ready, because we're planning as if it's going to happen.
So my other concern, because I know that, and those who are hearing me, they kind of know I'm very involved with Britland, but I wanted to ask, as far as the testing, when it does happen and when you all have a fixed plan, are they using the laptops that were issued to them, the technology that was issued to them? Because I know there's a lot of back and forth. And we, the adults, know what is back and forth as far as sharing. That's my other concern.
The reality is we don't know, right? We've not had a STAAR under these conditions yet. We have had an AP exam, and that ended up being a timed essay. They got rid of the multiple. This was for AP Human Geography. They got rid of the multiple choice question test, and they made it full on, completely about the essay that they had to write. And so we don't know what it is going to look like. And as soon as we do know, we can then work to prepare parents and prepare our students as best we can for it. So.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And one of the other questions I was asking, as far as students that are not following set expectations and guidelines for this, what IDEA is following for the CDC, is, do the parents, are they aware, hey, this is, yada, 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 this is your first, this is your second, how does that work for everybody else? Are you having them in a room, or are you designating a room or enough, or things to that nature, as where are they going to be placed in if something like that were to happen?
Are you talking about like following safety guidelines while they're in the building? Yeah, so I mean, luckily, I feel like we have an open communication network where if kids are not following safety guidelines, they can very quickly speak to their manager or the health aide and make sure that we have a conversation with that child. So far, I think our kids have done a really good job of listening to the guidelines. They take it seriously. They are, they've been really great, under really difficult circumstances, sitting in their chairs behind their sneeze guards with their masks on. We have been able to get them outside just this last week so that they can actually walk around a little bit. But, we are dealing with that on a case-by-case basis. So far, I have been very satisfied with the behavior of the staff and all of our students.
So one of the health scares for me also, one more, I promise, just one more. One of the things that, Ms. Kirk, I love you, Ms. No, I love y'all.
You're good.
One of my biggest things, and as far as the anxiety when we get those emails about, hey, one of ours, it's like my heart goes to my throat. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Is it the turnaround? Is it immediate by the time we get it, or is it, okay, we're doing procedures, yada yada, let's go here, chain of command? Or because by the time I get it or we get it, it's like what, 3, maybe 2, and like maybe an 8-hour period already has, or 6-hour period has last. That's why I'm, like I said, it's that time, I'm like, wait a minute, I just got it at this hour. What's been going on from, first hour to 6? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. Well, I've been, we've been very lucky, but also proactive about our approach, where we've had no positive cases. And I feel like anytime there's been, even the hint of a positive case, or someone's not feeling good, or someone got a test, we've been really proactive about telling that person to stay home. And luckily, we've had nothing come up just yet. So we'd like to keep it that way. And I think part of that is students maintaining those social distancing guidelines, wearing their masks, teachers communicating with each other. You know, if we see that someone's breaking protocol, that we are actively speaking to our managers about it, because it's really about the safety and health of everyone on campus. Again, I've been very satisfied with the behavior that I've seen on the college, you know, on our college prep campus. And I can say that as soon as we were to know if there were to be a positive case, I know that communication would come as quickly as possible.
Truly appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Gonzalez, at this time, we do not have any other questions in the chat. We do have one scholar who wants to take us up on the plan. So Ms.
Awesome.
Covarrubias is going to reach out tomorrow and get him set up.
Excellent. We appreciate that. Please, yeah, follow up with your teacher, and we will get you set up for success for the rest of the year. Okay. So if there are no more questions, you know, enjoy your evening. Thank you so much. Oh, another question?
¿Por qué no se escucha?
Okay. Si no tienes preguntas, por favor, you know, gracias para su con I don't know what to say. Thank you for your assistance.
Gracias por asistir esta junta. Se les agradece a todas. Gracias, gracias, gracias.
Gracias, señora Gloria. Estoy practicando mi español.
Oh, don't worry. I'm an interpreter too, so I get it. Gracias, gracias a todos.
We will, I did see a couple come in a little bit later. So Daniel, if you'll just translate that, we will send out this recording to share with all 6th grade parents so that they can all have access to this information.
Yes. Si tenemos un recordatorio, vamos a dar, si necesita, por favor, déjanos un mensaje en el chat box y podemos dar ese recordatorio. And again, if there are no questions, enjoy your evening. You can log off now, and thank you. Yep. Do we have any more parents?
We do still have 4.
Okay.
Call. Oh, we have. Can you translate what's in the chat box?
So, what family is this? No entendí. El maestro que necesita el crédito va a tener esas hojas en su página de Teams en el 2 de noviembre. Puedes chequear a su Teams y necesita también enseñar su nombre en las páginas que dar señora Ziegler in the chat box. Did you put it in Spanish and in English?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me grab the Spanish.
Tenemos las páginas en inglés y en español también.
Do you want me to put both or just?
Sure. I mean, just put. I mean, I feel like.
Yeah.
Señor Arce Osorio, ¿necesitan en inglés o en español las hojas? So that's the form to attend in person.
For me.
Hello?
Spanish es perfecto para mí.
Okay, perfecto, gracias. I think also the OTG plan, Rachel, if you can get that in Spanish.
So, we're actually going to be sending. There's no way for me to put those in the chat, so we're actually going to email those out.
Got it.
Right. So if they will leave their email in the chat, then Ms. Covarrubias will send those tomorrow.
Ponga su correo electrónico en el chat y vamos a dar mensaje con esas hojas. I don't see her email.
Whose email are we looking for?
David Arce Osorio.
I have it.
Okay, if you could just, yeah, we can just make sure we send them the OTG signature pages. Oh, she put it.
There we go.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and say, teachers, if y'all want to log off, feel free to enjoy your evening. Thank you again for attending. Appreciate you. I'll hang out for a little bit and make sure that parents get questions answered if necessary. Gracias. Alexandra, David's mom, do you guys have any questions? ¿Tienes preguntas? I feel like we can go ahead and call it.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez.
Thank you, Ms. Ziegler. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, have a great night. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming.